Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I'd appreciate it, and I update daily. If you like this watch, you can purchase it on thewatchbox.com. Buy, trade, and sell luxury watches on thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust II. This is the 116334 in white gold and stainless steel, a now discontinued model that debuted at Baselworld 2009. It was the launch of the bigger, more contemporary Datejust, running mate to the long-standing 36mm mainstay. This one has far more stance on the wrist. It doesn't look like a 41 so much as a 42 or a 43. And maybe that's because the Oyster case has never been a round case so much as a cushion. Now it is 41 from 9 to 3, not including the crown, and it's relatively slim, as you'll find it's only 12mm thick with a generously sloped case flank. It's lug to lug, especially when you add the end links, that this watch really spreads its wings. First, the lug to lug dimension, if you were to put it on a strap, would be 49.5. But if you measure the solid end links, end link to end link, the horns actually project beyond the case, creating a stance across the wrist of a far more substantial 51.6mm. So I would say that this is probably a watch that you're not going to want to wear on a wrist smaller than 14.5 centimeters in circumference, as 51.6 is quite broad, and the watch does feel and look substantial. You don't want it to proportionally dwarf your wrist. Now my wrist at 16 centimeters is going to be your reference point. My wrist is more oval than round for further reference. Now the bracelet is substantial, and the Datejust II was not an entry-level model, so the bracelet was double finished with polished center links, polished shoulders, and then outer links in satin finish. The clasp is substantial, polished inside and out. Again, you always know an entry-level Rolex watch when the internal of the clasp is media blasted, or there isn't a straight through polished stripe across the top, or alternatively you'll see on the entry-level models, for example something like an Oyster Perpetual, a recessed or relieved crown rather than a rising crown. Now there is a pull tab system that releases a complex internal mechanism. You can see the horn that joins the system together when it's closed. There's a lot more to this clasp than meets the eye, Rolex style. It does feature the 5mm Rolex Easy Link tool-free adjustment that's the equivalent of adding or removing one sizable link. All sizable links, of course, fixed in place by screws, not pins and sleeves. The timepiece is very attractive. This particular combination is stunning. What are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a steel case that has handsome lines. It's a little bit more squared off and substantial than a standard Datejust 36, but we're not quite at the blockish super case profile. It does have a little bit of a sensuous compound curve to its case flank, and you'll note that the light really does dance across its surface. It is Rolex 904L steel, so highly resistant to corrosion, to extremes probably not necessary for civilian use, but it's nice to know that it's there. Rolex perhaps more substantively stamps its cases, so they tend to be more robust regardless of material. The bezel is fully fluted and it is gray gold, which is to say it is a white gold alloy known as gray gold. It's homogeneous, and Rolex makes this blend in its own smelting and forging equipment. What gray gold is an 18-karat white gold alloy that's homogeneous through. It's not rhodium plated like standard white gold, so if it's scratched, there's just more white gold underneath, not a milky yellow substrate. The dial is sensational. As you can see, it is a sunburst blue with all applied stylized white gold numerals, white gold Rolex 5-point coronet, white gold polished and faceted hands at center, and then there's a railroad track outboard, old school. Now you will note that there is an awful lot of sunburst blue on this dial. It has a tremendous amount of color and personality, and I happen to like that in combination with the cool silver tones of the case. This one has color and character. It also has charisma. Inside, it's sophisticated. This is the only application of Rolex's 3136 movement, which is basically the 3135 with a larger date disc and Rolex's Paraflex shock protection system. The system is more effective than KIF or Inca Block, but most importantly, it represents another example of Rolex taking even the most specialized and minuscule aspects of production in-house. No manufacturer, except perhaps Seiko of Japan, is more vertically integrated. I'll say Seiko, Rolex, and Swatch Group as a group. Now, the timepiece does feature automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve, a 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate. There is hacking or stop seconds, and there's a quick set for the date. So should you wish, you can rapidly cycle and correct the date if the watch should run down or encounter an irregular length month. Cyclops eye present and correct, and I actually find that the Cyclops eye works better on the Datejust 2 and the Datejust 41 because there's less of a crowding of the dial. When you have a broader expanse on the 36 and smaller, the date just gets a little bit overwhelmed by the Cyclops. Here it seems nicely balanced and proportionally correct. A little bit more about the movement. It is a sports watch architecture. Full balance bridge and a free sprung balance architecture for shock resistance, overcoil hairspring for resistance to positional or gravitationally induced timing deviation, parachrome blue overcoil alloy to help it resist magnetism, and naturally it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, so Rolex takes the COSC certified movement and then cases it up and retests it to chronometer standards as a fully assembled watch. That is not standard protocol for chronometers, and it's not required by the COSC. Rolex has always gone the extra mile. You can see and you can purchase this timepiece on the Watchbox.